What's up, everybody? It's once again Joshua Howard. We're doing another episode of Joshi Rambling. Don't worry, I promise Officer Training School videos are coming. Yeah, they're coming. Today, we're going to be talking about a rules error that unfortunately Mordian Glory has been talking about on stream fairly often recently, and I want to start off by saying I don't generally care when I see like big names or personalities on stream make a rules error in their game. It happens. Nobody plays perfect games of 40k. I guarantee I'm making mistakes. But the key is trying to make sure that whenever a mistake is pointed out, you don't continue to make that mistake. And the reason why I'm talking about this at all is because this is a rules error that I've seen MG talk about multiple times on his stream, and because he's a big content creator, it's an interpretation that a lot of people are likely to be making. And I don't want to go up to a game. I don't want to play a game against another guard player. They do the rules error, and I have to be like, I'm sorry, that's not how that works. And so hopefully I can go ahead and do this fairly quickly. So we're going to go ahead and listen to Mordian Glory talk about the interaction between take cover and mostly vehicles, but also then we're going to go over the rule and why it doesn't work the way he thinks it does. And lastly, then we're going to go ahead and talk about a little bit of context behind this rule because there is a bit of a story to it.
Improve the save characteristic of models in this unit by 1. This cannot improve a model's save to better than a 3 plus.
So cool. We just read out the rule for take cover, which, as he says, you improve your save characteristic by 1, but it cannot improve your save to better than a 3 plus. This is correct, and we'll talk about exactly what this means in a moment.
Now, let me explain. If you put take cover onto a tank, you increase its save from a 2 plus to a 1 plus, but a 1 always fails, right? But a 1 always fails, so it wouldn't do anything. But here's the thing, there is a difference between save characteristic and save.
This is actually the primary issue with the argument that he's trying to make because of what he just said. There's a difference between a save characteristic and the save is actually false. We'll talk about exactly what it is because the word he's thinking of, or the phrase he's thinking of, and the key phrase is not save. The key phrase is saving throw, and we'll talk about that in a moment. He's got better eye wiggles than I do.
Save, no characteristic, save is the dice you roll. It's like there's a difference between your ballistic skill and your ballistic characteristic and the hit roll.
This is a good distinction to make, right? It is why take aim and +1 to hit end up stacking. It's why you can stack heavy from indirect and the vanquisher and take aim, because take aim is affecting our ballistic skill and heavy is affecting the roll. That isn't a crucial difference. Then this is important to recognize, but it just doesn't apply here.
Okay, that's why you can improve your ballistic skill and you can improve your to hit roll.
Oh, there he goes. There it is.
So this technically improves your save from a 2 plus to a 1 plus, but a 2 always fails. Okay. But what about your save roll? Now, your save roll can be modified. That is what AP does.
Correct. We'll also be addressing this in a moment.
Okay, that's what AP does. So, if you have a tank with a 2 plus save and it gets hit by an AP minus 2 weapon, your save is modified to a 4 plus. Your save roll is modified to a 4 plus. But therefore, at that point, would not take cover then kick in, because your save roll will be a 4 plus. Therefore, take cover could improve your model save back to a 3 plus. So
So this is the key issue, right? And so let's go ahead and break down the verbiage and why this is incorrect. So the first thing I want to point out is here is the wording from the core rules, and I found this on the PDF, and you can go ahead and find it on Warhammer community. And we're talking here about a saving throw, and there's a couple of important things. By default, this will be an armor saving throw using their model's save, capital S, parentheses, capital SV characteristic, but some models have invulnerable saves, blah, blah, blah. To make an armor saving throw, roll 1d6 and modify the result by the armor penetration characteristic of that attack. For example, if the attack is an AP of -1, then 1 is subtracted from the saving throw. If the result is equal then or greater to the save characteristic of the model the attack was allocated to, then that saving throw is successful and the attack sequence ends. Blah, blah, blah. An unmodified saving throw of 1 always fails, and a saving throw can never be improved by more than +1. Okay. So the important thing here, and this is one of the most important distinctions, and one of the most consistent distinctions that we actually see throughout the entire 40k rulebook, I was actually really surprised at how consistently they do this correctly, is that the save, especially done with a capital S, the save and the save characteristic are identical in terms of how they function in the rules. The words that Tim or that Mordian Glory is looking for is saving throw, and that is not affected by take cover. I want to again look at one other place where we also see this, which is here underneath profiles. You can also find this in the core rules. I think this is on page 38, where save, capital S, is the protection of models armor gives them, right? This is how strong your armor is. But again, capital S save is once again used here to refer to your characteristic, not to the saving throw, which we're going to take a look at. So there's one other thing that I forgot to grab, which is that your save characteristic can never be improved to 1+ or better. Okay, so with that in mind, we have now hopefully shown that there is a difference between save and saving throw. So the next thing we're going to do is take a look at take cover. And this is what take cover says. I pulled this off of the 40k app officially. Take cover. Improve the save characteristic of models in this unit by 1. This cannot improve a model's save to better than 3+. And once again, we can point out here that it is the save characteristic at the top, and even though it is a slightly different wording, a model's save, it is still that capital S, it is still that one word, it is not saving throw. And this difference is really important. Improve the save characteristic of models in this unit by 1. This cannot improve a model's save to better than 3+. So, while it is correct that you can order an armored scout, sentinel, or Leman Russ or Chimera, you are allowed to order take cover to any of these vehicles, but it doesn't do anything for them because their save characteristic, again, or their save is already 3+ or better. It doesn't do anything. In fact, the only place where we can find at least for the guard that I can think of, the only place where we can find an improvement to the save roll, which again, going back to save, a saving throw can never be improved by more than +1, is, I believe it's in benefit of cover. And I didn't do this originally. So let's see if I can find it really quick. And you got to see benefit of cover. Let's find it. Okay. Oh, nope, not that. Let's find the definition, please. Okay. So here, let me go ahead and close this out, is the definition of benefit of cover coming in from the core rules. Each time a range attack is allocated to a model that has the benefit of cover, add 1 to the saving throw. Again, not save, saving throw. Models with a save characteristic of 3+ or better cannot have the benefit of cover against attacks with an armor penetration characteristic of 0. This is that weird, like, one spot where it doesn't work. Your power armor does not save you, does not put you on Terminator armor against las guns. So again, we find yet again that there is a distinction being made here from the saving throw and the save characteristic. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I did a video not that long ago of Mordian Glory taking on Aiden Smalley of Disgustingly Resilient, the Death Guard podcast. And there was a couple of times in that game where Mordian Glory put take cover on a chimera on a chimera. And normally, like we have just identified, this doesn't do anything. And I was watching it originally and being like, huh, it doesn't have an effect. It doesn't do anything. However, it actually did happen to have an effect in that game because of the way that Death Guard work. And in that game, Aiden Smalley had chosen to take as his spread the sickness. You always have the -1 toughness aura, but he chose as his second aura the rattle joint egg. While an enemy unit is within contagion range of this unit, worsening the save characteristic of models in that unit by 1. So the time that this actually came up that I noticed was when Mordian Glory still had a Chimera in the middle of the board, and it was right next to Mortarion, I think it was, and he had take cover, and he was within contagion range, which means that the improving of the save characteristic from take cover and the worsening of the save characteristic by the Rattle Drain Egg ended up canceling each other out. So it did end up improving your save characteristic because your save characteristic would have been on a 4 plus from the Death Guard aura, but is returned to a 3 plus by take cover. So it did end up working in that spot. While we're on the topic of Death Guard, I do want to bring up this is Mortarion's aura, the Lord of the Death Guard. While a friendly Death Guard unit is within 6 inches of this model, that unit can ignore any or all modifiers to its characteristics and any roll or test made for it, yet again, excluding modifiers to saving throws. So the difference here pops up once again that the saving throw and the save or save characteristic, and these two words are identical in the rules, are different. So what does this all mean? All of this means that you can put take cover on a vehicle. You can put it on units that have a 4 plus in theory, but if you're in like the recon element, you cannot put them on a 2 plus. At best, you're doing it on a 3 plus with the benefit of cover, which means you have a +1 to your save. Because both take cover and recon element say that your save characteristic cannot be improved beyond a 3 plus. The reason why this came up fairly recently was actually for the Las Vegas Open. And at the Las Vegas Open in the FLG FAQ, and FLG has had a history of making weird rules clarifications and oftentimes just straight out wrong rules understandings that they have put into their FAQ. This was one of them. And it was initially brought to at least my community's attention by Wesley St. Hines, where he did a video, or not a video, where he put in my Discord, look, we can give all of our vehicles Armor of Contempt for free. And as soon as they saw that, Nassim Fouchain and Tony Baumeier, who I also had on Recon, I believe one or two other people who were also looking at going to LVO, were all like, this means that Bridgehead is worse than Combined Arms, or Combined Regiment at the time, because suddenly you stop putting take aim on all of your tanks, you just can give them take cover all the time, because now las cannons, you have a 3-up save against. Melta weapons, you have a 4-up save against, and this makes you so ridiculously tanky. And we have to remember that at the time, Armor of Contempt was a stratagem that Space Marines and I think one or two or a couple of other things like Grey Knights and Votan and similar armies, they would have to pay a CP for that. We just got it for free, and we could put it on every single one of our vehicles where they would have this weird conditional Armor of Contempt. And all of them were saying, we don't want to, if this is the ruling that is going to be going through, we don't want to play Bridgehead. We don't want to play all of our infantry stuff. We want to play Lehman Russ spam because they are now unkillable. And that changes like the way that things work a lot. So I don't know exactly how this got changed, but basically I know several members of the community all sent emails to the Frontline Gaming's head judge Adam Solis, and LVO ended up reversing that ruling, or at least taking it down off the FAQ, so that this actually does function correctly. And again, I think this is one of those spots where the vernacular terminology of how we actually talk about 40k doesn't always match up the actual like words in the rules. Like whenever I play a game of 40k and someone will say I'm going to pile in or consolidate and they will call them the wrong one. It's like, okay, I've done my attacks, I'm going to pile in. It's like, that's technically not correct, but we all know what you're trying to say. Unfortunately, using that like imprecise language, especially when you're talking about rules discussions, really matters because this is one where again the save with a capital S and the save characteristic are synonymous. Also, capital S, lowercase v, all of these things are synonymous. They're all the save characteristic. While you're looking for the difference between the save and the actual die you roll, that is called the saving throw, and it's actually incredibly consistent across all of the rules that I've spent time looking into. So therefore, you cannot, or you are allowed to put take cover on a vehicle, but the only time it ever does something is when your opponent, like with Death Guard, can worsen your save characteristic rather than worsening your save throw or saving throw. Anyway, this has been helpful. Looking forward to seeing what the response to this is, and we can go ahead and talk about it another time. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys all next time. Bye bye.